All right, I just got done attending the most recent Telpas training with a TEA TETN. And so I thought that I would go ahead and make a quick video for you going over that information. Okay, Telpas updates. We've kind of gone through this in different emails that I've passed off to you. Okay, we know what the Telpas overview is and the reason. And I'm going to go through some of these slides pretty quickly because I'm going to send you the PowerPoint as well, so you can make an abridged PowerPoint to be able to use with your teachers. We know the components of Telpas. We know this information as well. Special administration, I don't believe that we've had anybody in our district that's ever requested a special administration of Telpas. If you need one, just give me a call and we can talk about it. Okay. If you need a special administration, I will need to submit that for you. I just received in some manuals. I'll be getting those out to you, and I just sent you yesterday the packages and envelopes with your Telpas Alt observable behaviors. Key dates: the online training center opens January the 10th. The assembling and verifying opened on January the 10th. You can take that at any time. Once you decide who's going to be your assembler and your verifier, you need to make sure that they take those trainings. That is a campus decision. Online basic training for new raters, that will be January 24th. That will open. Anybody who is not rated before will need to take those courses. Your calibration for new and returning raters will open on February 7th. Anybody who's going to be a rater will need to take that training, and you can start collecting your writing samples February 7th. So you need to make sure that your teachers know what are the requirements for the writing samples. Okay, remember we talked earlier about the fact that TEA is saying you only have to be trained once, that once you're trained, it's good forever. Well, we're on a new platform this year, so you need to make sure that your Telpas training is done again this year regardless. And that's saying the same thing that I just said. Holistic training, that holistic training needs to be taken by the new and returning raters. And again, that is coming up on the LMS. Your assembly and verifying training is there, and everybody should have an account into Cambium. If not, we can make one, and you can create just an account for training if that's all you need and you don't need access to any other part. Okay. Once you get into the LMS, you will go to the rater, and your rater courses and your calibration will all be there. We will not need let's see, it says courses and calibrations sets are listed under the categories column on the left-hand side. The calibration sets and the listening and speaking courses will require a passcode. Once I get those, I will let you know. Okay. And again, calibration courses will become live February 7th. When you take that training, or when one of your teachers takes the training, it will go into their training history, and we will be able to print off those logs, so you will not need to keep track of it in the variety of ways that we have in the past. You should have administrator access to be able to print off the logs for your campus. If not, let me know. And I also have administrator rights to be able to print off logs for the full district. There are 3 different levels of report information that you can print off. You can do the overview, you can do the staff records, or you can download an Excel report. Whichever one you like to use to keep track of your teachers and their training, that's fine. Remember, your K1 needs rater credentials. They test differently than the other grade levels. They do that holistic testing. Grade 2 through 12. Remember, paraprofessionals may not serve as raters. Your Telpas writing collections, centralized raters. I would encourage you to use centralized raters. Using centralized raters makes a lot of sense to me, having one and making sure that you have a backup, but that centralized raters allows you to train fewer people, have a more consistent result, and to make sure that you're on top of what's getting done when. Again, more on centralized raters. And a centralized rater, remember, is separate than the verifier and the collector. Okay. In rare circumstances, we have not had these circumstances come up in DISD as far as I know. I know that that doesn't say they never will. They might, but as far as I know, we don't have any for this year. If your raters are out and it's on your day, you can set up a Zoom session to be able to monitor the calibration section with those that are out. If you do set up a remote session, you need to make sure that your Zoom session where you can see everybody on one screen, on one monitor, because you have to be able to have them in your view at all times. Right there it says what I just said. Okay, holistic components rating. The holistic ratings will have to be entered into the DEI system, and that is through Cambium. And anybody who needs to enter the system should already have a Cambium account. If they do not, we need to set one up. Okay, they will enter the student's first name and their TSDS number, so you need to make sure that you have a list of that information ready when you're ready to enter in the information into the DEI. Okay, score code information. Do not score designations in TIDE. If we have any of these, we will work together to take care of that. Telpas online assessments. Updated Telpas listening and speaking practice sets. We know that our students have to take the practice test before they take the actual Telpas test. That's a requirement. These are no longer standalone. They are in Cambium, and the same way in which we get to the practice test for STAR is the way in which we get to the practice Telpas test. It's important because remember, we are on a new platform this year that none of the students have used in the past for their Telpas testing. Practicing is very important. You can go as deep in as you want to with the Telpas test, with the practice Telpas test, to be able to help the students learn. Okay, this just shows you that you go to the practice and release test. You choose your grade level. You scroll down in that menu until you get to the Telpas practice. You will be required to do the playback and recording device checks. This is the new section to Telpas. We talked about this earlier in the year about the fact that there are going to be open-ended writing samples, field test items in the Telpas test this year. So make sure your students know to expect that. Please do not tell them, oh, it's not going to be graded. Oh, don't worry about it. Make sure that they actually take it seriously, because this is going to determine whether they're going to continue to do that in the future or not. Okay, but that in the Telpas test will not count for your writing collection. You need to make sure that you still have your writing collections done. Here's an example of what they may see. accommodations for Telpas embedded writing field test. Whatever accommodations they have on STAR, they can use on the embedded field test. And I'm going to just go through these very quickly because you can go through the PowerPoint, go to slide 47 and read these particulars. This is all stuff that we know that if they don't qualify for a particular support, then we can't just arbitrarily give it to them. Again, I want you to go back and read these for detail. So I'm just going to quickly flash them here. You can either pause the video and read them, or you can go to the PowerPoint. Okay, again, text-to-speech will be embedded for the Telpas writing field test items. So the kids will need their headphones, which they would need anyways. So we've already got that covered. This is not available yet. This is the infamous TEA soon. As soon as I get information that it is available, I will pass it on to you. Okay, remember, Telpas is not timed, but it is online. Students need to work at their own pace. Braille version is available. I do not believe we have any students at this time that need a Braille Telpas. Students moving within a Telpas. If you know a student's moving and you have given them any part of the Telpas, you need to make sure that those scores are entered before they move so that they go over to the new campus or district. This guide is being made available. As soon as I have it, I will send it to you. If you would like to be a part of the decision making, please make sure that you sign up for those educator committees. In your PowerPoint, these are links, so they will be able to take you to where you want to go. Okay, Telpas Alt. We know who is eligible for Telpas Alt. Okay, we know this. K1 has no Telpas Alt. Grade 2, it's basically the same requirements as what you would need for STAR, and grade 3 through 12, it's based upon STAR. If you have students taking Telpas Alt, you have already completed this form. If not, you need to. Remember, the Telpas Alt has different PLDs, so you need to make those available to the teachers. I have sent you out your observable behavior envelopes. Here are some using classroom examples. Okay, there is an electronic version. If your teachers would like to use the electronic version, go to slide 75, and I will also download this and put it onto our website. There is separate Telpas Alt training that the teachers need to take. Please make sure that happens. There is a Telpas Alt Test Administrator Manual. The observable behaviors will need to be entered into the DEI. Make sure that who's ever entering that is familiar with DEI and that they have an account. The DEI will have one screen with 10 observable behaviors per language domain and ratings A through E corresponding to the observable behavior document. You'll click through the 4 screens to enter the ratings for all 4 language domains before submitting. In order to submit ratings, a student should have ratings for all 40. Okay. Here's an example of what it'll look like for you. Okay. If we need to do an appeals or a file upload, we can take care of that. I'll coordinate with you if that comes up as a need for you. Here again, this is slide 83. These are the trainings that your teachers will need to go to before doing Telpas Alt. Again, links, I'm not going to stay here because you can't link off of the video, but you'll know that this is on slide 84. This is slide 85. Texas support. First and foremost, I am here to support you. Here is your TEA contact and your disclaimer. Okay. If you have any questions about Telpas or Telpas Alt, please let me know. I wanted to get this out to you as quickly as possible so that if you wanted to make a PowerPoint off of these slides, you can, and to give you the information that was updated today.